To Kill a Mockingbird is a novel written by Harper Lee and first published in 1960. Set in the 1930s in the fictional town of Macomb, Alabama, it follows the story of a young girl named Scout Finch as she grows up and learns about racial injustice and prejudice in her community. The novel deals with themes of morality, justice, and social inequality, and it has become a classic of modern American literature. Harper Lee, who passed away in 2016, was an American novelist best known for her only published novel, To Kill a Mockingbird, which won the Pulitzer Prize for Fiction in 1961. Plot summary. The novel is narrated by Jean Louise Scout Finch, who is 6 years old at the beginning of the story. She lives in Macomb, Alabama, with her brother Jem and their father Atticus, who is a lawyer. The children spend their summers playing with their friend Dill, who comes to visit his aunt next door. They become fascinated by their reclusive neighbor Arthur Boo Radley, who has not been seen outside of his house in years. The first part of the novel follows the children's attempts to catch a glimpse of Boo and their speculations about his life. They experience the racism and prejudice that exists when their black housekeeper Calpurnia takes them to her church, and they witness the segregation and poverty of the African American community. As the novel progresses, Atticus is appointed to defend a black man named Tom Robinson, who has been accused of raping a white woman named Mayella Yule. Despite the evidence in Tom's favor, including his physical disability that would have made it impossible for him to commit the crime, he is found guilty by an all-white jury. The trial exposes the racism and injustice that is deeply rooted in the society of Macomb. During the trial, the children sit in the balcony of the courthouse and observe the proceedings. They also encounter the prejudices of the townspeople, who insult and ostracize them because of their father's defense of Tom Robinson. After the trial, Bob Yule, the abusive father of Mayella, seeks revenge on Atticus and his family. He attacks Jem and Scout on their way home from a school event, injuring Jem severely. However, they are saved by Boo Radley, who emerges from his house and kills Yule in the struggle. Sheriff Tate, who arrives on the scene, decides to report that Yule fell on his own knife in order to protect Boo from the consequences of his actions. The novel ends with Scout's reflections on the events of the story and the lessons she has learned about the injustices and complexities of human nature. She realizes that Boo Radley, whom she once feared and misunderstood, was actually a kind and generous person who saved their lives. Scout finally understands what Atticus taught her: you never really understand a person until you consider things from his point of view. Until you climb into his skin and walk around in it. Major themes. Racism and prejudice. The novel explores the deeply ingrained racism and prejudice that existed in the American South during the 1930s. This is seen in the treatment of Tom Robinson, the black man who is falsely accused of rape, and the ostracism of Atticus and his family for defending him. Example: when Scout and Jem attend church with Calpurnia, their black housekeeper, they witness the segregation and poverty of the African American community in Macomb. This scene highlights the segregation and prejudice that were deeply embedded in the society of Macomb. Justice. The novel raises questions about what is just and unjust, and it shows how difficult it can be to achieve justice in a society that is deeply divided along racial and social lines. Example: despite the overwhelming evidence in Tom Robinson's favor, he is still found guilty by an all-white jury. This highlights the fact that justice is often denied to people who are marginalized or discriminated against. Courage, the novel celebrates acts of courage, both big and small, and shows how even small acts of bravery can have a significant impact on others. Example, Atticus shows courage by defending Tom Robinson despite the threats and harassment he and his family received from the townspeople. Scout and Jem also show courage when they stand up to the mob that comes to the jailhouse to lynch Tom Robinson. Innocence, the novel also explores the loss of innocence that comes with growing up and the loss of childhood wonder and naivety. Example, Scout loses her innocence when she witnesses the unfairness of the trial and the racism of the townspeople. She realizes that the world is not as just and fair as she had previously thought. Social inequality, the novel explores the ways in which social inequality affects individuals and communities, and it highlights the ways in which people are judged and mistreated. Example, the Yule family is a prime example of the effects of poverty and social inequality. The children are uneducated and neglected, and they live in squalor. This is contrasted with the privileged and respectable lifestyle of the Finch family. Historical and cultural context. To Kill a Mockingbird is set in the 1930s American South, a time of deep-seated segregation and discrimination against African Americans. This is reflected in the treatment of the black character Tom Robinson, who is falsely accused of rape and found guilty by an all-white jury despite overwhelming evidence in his favor. The novel also addresses issues of gender inequality, as seen in the limited opportunities for women. The historical and cultural context of the novel is significant in understanding its themes and characters, and serves as a reminder of the ongoing struggle for social justice and equality. Significance and impact. To Kill a Mockingbird is an important novel because it explores important themes such as racism, prejudice, and social injustice in a way that is both insightful and compelling. The novel has had a profound impact on literature and society since its publication in 1960, and it continues to be a widely read and celebrated work of American literature. One reason why To Kill a Mockingbird is so significant is because of its frank and unflinching portrayal of racism and prejudice in the American South. The novel challenges readers to confront the harsh realities of discrimination and segregation. It highlights the importance of empathy, understanding, and compassion in the fight against injustice. The novel has also had a significant impact on contemporary issues related to racism and social justice. Its message of equality and justice for all continues to resonate with readers. The novel has been used as a teaching tool in schools and universities around the world, and it has been the subject of numerous academic studies and critical analyses. Additionally, To Kill a Mockingbird has influenced the literary landscape in a number of ways. The novel's use of first-person narration, its evocative imagery, and its exploration of complex themes have all inspired countless writers and shaped the development of modern American literature. To Kill a Mockingbird is an important novel because it sheds light on important issues related to race, prejudice, and social injustice, and it continues to inspire readers and writers alike. Conclusion. To Kill a Mockingbird is a novel written by Harper Lee that explores themes of racism, prejudice, justice, and courage. The novel is set in the 1930s American South, a time of deep-seated segregation and discrimination against African Americans. The novel's portrayal of these issues serves as a powerful reminder of the ongoing struggle for social justice and equality. To Kill a Mockingbird is an important novel that has had a significant impact on literature and society, and it continues to be widely read and celebrated today. Its relevance to contemporary issues related to racism and social justice underscores the novel's enduring importance.